Have you ever gone home after a basketball game and just kept replaying a moment in your head? Maybe a turnover you had, or a play where you caught the ball on the wing and you should have shot it, but you passed instead. I do this constantly after my games, and I think it's a good thing to do, as well as watching film to learn from where you could be more effective. Now, what if you did this same exact thing, but before a game instead of after it? It might sound crazy, but many of the best athletes and basketball players in the world do this. The name of this technique is visualization, and many of you have probably heard of it. In this video, I want to break down what visualization is, why it's so effective, and how you can implement it into your basketball life. Let's get the obvious out of the way. If you want to make more shots in your basketball games, you need to be training and getting shots up daily. However, what I like to dig into on this channel is how you can gain an advantage outside of just working out or having on-court skills. And if that's something you're interested in, then don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. Now, like I said, working out is essential, but it's only one piece in the puzzle that is success in basketball. The other major piece in that puzzle is the mind. If you can take advantage of your mind, you can separate yourself from your peers. Here's Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympic athlete of all time, talking about how he uses visualization.
I visualize every single, getting up to a meet, I would visualize probably a month or so in advance, just of what could happen, what I want to happen, and what I don't want to happen. Because when it happened, I was prepared for it.
If you're not preparing yourself before the meet, you're not going to get a time you deserve.
At its core, visualization is about imagining something in your head that has not yet happened, so you will be more prepared in the future when that thing does happen. A basic basketball example is from Steve Nash, who would visualize his shot going in before every free throw he took. Maybe this is one reason why he shot 90% from the line throughout his career. This is really interesting. There was actually a study done in the 1950s to figure out how effective visualization really was. Basketball players were split into 3 groups, and over the course of the month, players in the first group would work on their free throws for an hour a day. Players in the second group would simply visualize themselves making free throws for an hour a day, and players in the third group would do nothing. Of course, the third group saw no change, but the second group that only visualized their free throws going in actually saw a 23% increase in their free throw percentage. And the first group who actually practiced their free throws for that month saw a 24% increase in their free throw percentage. So there was only a 1% difference between the group that actually practiced their free throws and the group that just thought about making free throws. That's kind of amazing. So imagine using visualization on top of working on your skills. The practice of visualization can range from simply imagining a free throw going in, like Steve Nash, to playing through a whole game in your head. That's right, going through each play, from tip-off to where you're going to catch the ball on the wing to how you're going to defend the other team's best player. Literally working through the most nuanced parts of a basketball game. Actually, some athletes take it even further. A New York Times article from 2014 brought up Olympic athletes actually visualizing the bus ride to their match and the press conference after their games. They imagined the smell and feel of everything leading up to the competition, as well as the competition itself. So why does this work? Well, I've talked about on this channel how easy it is to trick your brain. Something I really struggled with in high school was confidence, and I think a big reason for that was because I had the bad habit of talking negatively to myself. If you tell yourself you aren't going to make a shot, your brain is going to believe you, and you're going to be more likely to miss that shot. The same is true with visualization, so let's go through an example. Close your eyes and imagine yourself bringing the ball up on the right wing. Your big comes up and sets you a ball screen. As you come off the screen, you realize your defender has gone under the pick, so you step behind it and shoot the 3. The ball splashes in and you hold up 3 fingers in celebration as you run back on defense and find your man. Now that was pretty specific, but what we did there was a mini visualization practice. Now in my game tomorrow, if this play becomes a reality, my mind thinks that it has already happened. That is because the human brain struggles to differentiate between something that is visualized and something that has happened in reality. Now, instead of just going through that one play, what if you went through 30 moments from an upcoming game, or 50 moments, or even 100 different plays? And in each one of those moments, you are making the correct decision because you're imagining the play. Now you get into the real game and your brain is more likely to help your body replicate those imagined plays. Now maybe this all sounds crazy to you. Maybe you don't believe a word I'm saying. Well, here is Michael Jordan, the GOAT by the way, talking about how he used visualization to gain an advantage over his opponents.
I tend to be calm. Things tend to slow down. As I go into situations that people don't know the outcome, I've already experienced them in my mind, just playing tricks with myself. So it didn't seem new to me, and I wasn't afraid to fail with it. Once I began to understand that, I became a master of the game of basketball.
MJ observes that he has already had those in-game experiences in his mind. Now this is the real power of visualization. So back when I was at Colgate, we would spend about 30 seconds before every practice and game to really get our minds right. And it was really helpful for me because it allowed me to lock in and be present in the moment. I was able to remove all distractions from my mind. But 30 seconds really is not enough time to implement visualization into your game in a real, impactful way. So what do I recommend? Well, it is extremely important for me to be honest with you guys as I make these videos, because as I always say, we are going through this basketball journey together. So with full transparency, visualization is something that's new to me too. It is something that I had heard about for a long time, but I had never really implemented it into my own game until recently. So since I've gotten to Finland to play professional basketball, I have really expanded my practice of visualization. And maybe this is because I have nothing else to do other than play basketball and make videos for you guys, but that's besides the point. I have added it into my routine. So here in Finland, we do a lot of preparation before games. This means we watch film on the teams before we play them, and we go through their exact plays and actions on the court in practice. This is almost a form of visualization in itself, come to think about it. And this is helpful because I know exactly the players I'm about to play and how they're likely to defend me and so on. You might not have this luxury of preparation, but that's okay. So here is what I have been doing recently on game days. If we have a home game, I will normally take a nice long nap in the middle of the day. However, before this nap, I have been setting aside about 30 minutes to literally play through as much of a game as I possibly can in my mind before I get too tired and I fall asleep. I start with the tip-off, and then I go through a game imagining myself in the spots that I normally am on the court. I imagine myself making catch and shoot threes, going for offensive rebounds, getting in the passing lanes for steals. All the little things that might seem unimportant, I actually think through. And for away games, I will do the same practice, but usually just sitting on the bus, listening to music. I close my eyes and visualize my upcoming game. So what have I noticed? It's fascinating because I really have felt a difference once I step foot on the court. It truly feels like I've already been out there, already gone through that jump ball. And then throughout the game, I almost feel like I get sudden reminders of things that I visualized earlier in the day. For instance, before my last game, I visualized that play where the defender goes under the screen and I step behind it and shoot a three, just like I talked you through earlier in this video. And then that exact play actually happened in my game. I didn't have to think for a second whether or not I was gonna take the shot, because I had already taken that shot earlier in the day. I shot it with full confidence and it went in. I truly believe there was no hesitation on that shot because it was a moment I already had played through in my mind. So before your next game, just try and set aside 10 to 20 minutes and do some visualization. Work through certain plays in the same way I showed you. Obviously, make sure these are moments in the game that are actually likely to happen to you. Don't visualize yourself dunking on a defender if you could barely touch the rim, although if that's how visualization worked, then I would be in the NBA. Seriously, try it and let me know in the comments if you see a difference when you get on the court. Or if visualization is something that is already part of your basketball routine, that's great. And let me know how it has worked for you. Again, this is something new that I'm trying out too. So maybe I can update you in a few months and let you know what I've learned, how it's been working. And if you want to learn more about how your mind can impact your basketball life, watch this video on how you can increase your confidence in basketball.